Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Michelle and I am your budget mechanic. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us on this budget journey. Today we're going to talk about what is a budget. But before we jump into the budget itself, I want to take a couple of seconds to just explain my philosophy of how I'm approaching this channel. The first few videos that we're going to do are really to talk about the budget. What is it? What are the components? How can you use it? What are the different budget methodologies? To help build that foundational knowledge about budgeting before we get into the nitty-gritty of actually developing your personal budget using the different tools that are available and giving you that information. So hopefully you'll have a better understanding when we get into that detail of what we mean by each of those different parts. So with that, we're going to transition into the purpose of today's video, which is to describe what is a budget. There's lots of different definitions out there, but in a basic, a budget is a plan that you monitor and adjust to address your current situation and your priorities. So you'll notice that we have discussion about adjusting and monitoring because a budget isn't static. It's not something you set and forget. If you do that, that's where you get into problems because you won't be able to figure out where you're going wrong, maybe why it isn't working. Budgets require monitoring. They require attention to make sure that they meet your priorities and your goals. So if you have goals to attend school or get a designation, you can't just say, I'm going to go do that and then hope at the end that you're there. You have to adjust and monitor to make sure that you're getting everything you need to get there. So why don't we look at a budget as an analogy to taking a road trip. So there's a few different options when you take a road trip. One of them is that you could just take your bag of cash, hop in the car, hop on that motorbike, and take off and see what happens. Now, you could end up having the greatest vacation of your life, see some really neat things you would have never thought of, everything like that. But if in the back of your mind you thought, I would have really liked to see X, and you end up in the opposite direction and no chance of seeing it, you might not feel like it's doing what you want it to do. And that's kind of like living life without a budget. Sure, you'll have adventures. Sure, you might get things you want, but are they what you want? Maybe they take too long. Maybe you'll never get what you want. On the flip side, let's think about if you take a road trip and you make a plan for that. So when you make your plan, you decide your mode of transportation. Are you going to drive or fly or any combination? Are you going to eat out at restaurants or buy food locally and make your own meals? Potentially as well, is this a road trip that you want to have souvenirs from? Are you going to allocate some money there? So you have a budget, a plan for your vacation, and then you monitor that and adjust as the vacation goes along to make sure you're still meeting what you need. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're on your vacation and you're driving and you come across a detour, an unexpected detour. Maybe they've had to do maintenance on the roadway. Well, you had a budget for the amount of time it's going to take you to get there, the route. So now you're going to have to change the route. Does that going to cost me more money? Or does it change what I can do later on because I have to cut out something? So if it's going to cost me more money, maybe I have to look at the rest of my budget. I decided I really wanted to eat out most days. Well, maybe I have to cut back on a couple of those days to help pay for my additional gas, or maybe if I have to stay over an extra night in a hotel because of the detour. Same thing, you could also then choose to change the funding from souvenirs. Maybe you decide souvenirs aren't as high priority, so you take the money out of there and move it to your gas and go along. So that's what I mean by a budget. A budget, you're doing the same thing, but for all of the things in your life. So you're monitoring it. Am I paying my bills on time, my regular day-to-day bills, getting my groceries? But then I'm also looking at my longer term. Am I saving enough for school or maybe my child's education? Do I have enough for retirement? And all of those. And all of those things you're monitoring and adjusting based on your current situation and what you want to achieve. If I change a job, am I making more money or less? How does that impact what I do with my budget? So overall then, like we said, a budget is a plan that you monitor and adjust as your situation changes. So I hope that is helpful in understanding better what's involved in a budget, and I hope you join us next time for our next video where we talk more in depth about what are the different component parts of a budget. So thanks, and we'll see you again next time.